Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we're going to be doing my last actual update in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. It dawned on me a few videos ago of different updates in the month of November that, wow, finale season is almost upon us and I am just really taken aback. I feel like this year spent a really long time just dragging by, and then whoosh, it's gonna be over before we know it. And I know that that's something that I have complained about, or at least talked about noticing in the past, but I feel like this year, with everything that's been going on in the world, and at least me in my own personal life, I feel like this year that is even more so apparent. But I do want to talk about my progress in this project, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's go ahead and start with the shade that got, I think, the least amount of usage, and that is going to come from this Marc Jacobs palette. This is 750 Editorial. And the shade that I have been working on is this blackened teal shade right here. This is in the shade Enviously. And you can probably tell there is a dip going on in there, but the brush that I use is a very broad brush, so it is definitely picking up a lot of product from a large portion of the pan. So it's not looking quite as deep as I would like it to, but I have really enjoyed using that shadow so much. And as I've said, I think in at least one other update for this shadow, I would not have used it otherwise, and it certainly would not have gotten this much use. It's just a shadow that's a little bit outside of my comfort zone. So I love this project and other projects really for pushing me outside of what I would normally do. And we'll talk about that even more here in a few minutes for another update. But with that shadow, I only used it twice since our last update, so not a ton of progress there, but again, really enjoying using it. The shadow that got the next least amount of use, unfortunately, comes from this palette right here. This is my Wicked Sisters. Yes, I had a moment of, oh God, did you screw it up again? My Wicked Sisters palette, this is the Fortune Teller palette. I did choose to work on, or was chosen to work on this shade right here. It's the fourth shade in the palette. And y'all know I gushed about this shade last update. I have absolutely loved using it. It is absolutely stunning. It is a beautiful transformative shade and I really like it. It is a very powdery formula. I literally just have to tap my brush into it and I have plenty for my eye. So I do use it very lightly and very sparingly. I could probably sit here and swirl my brush in there and hit pan right in front of you guys, but that would be a disgusting waste of such a beautiful eyeshadow. So I have only used it 3 times since our last update. I'll be very honest, and I had a conversation about this with a friend of mine here on YouTube in their comments, because she's kind of in the same place. I've gotten a lot of new makeup in recently, and I think I'm having just a little bit of panner's fatigue because I just want to play in my makeup and not necessarily be, I don't want to say forced to use these products because this is self-imposed, but I don't know, I've been really wanting to play in other areas, so a lot of things haven't gotten as much use as they need to have or should have, but that's why my numbers are going to be a little bit low, and that's why I haven't used that one quite as much. I don't want to just go ham on it and hit pan for the sake of hitting pan, but also I've been kind of all over the place, and that also is why this one has fallen victim as well. This is the Persona Cosmetics. This is the Color Theory Copper palette, and I'm working on this shade right here. It is called Brick. It still has that dip going on in it. I hope you can tell in the camera. It's a really beautiful orangey terracotta shade, and I really love this formula so much. Again, I talked about this a lot in my last update. It has this, even though it's a matte shade, it has this beautiful sort of almost satin finish to it that has so much life to it, and it is absolutely beautiful, but it is very, very, very firmly pressed. So even though I have been getting some use out of it, my dip hasn't changed much. I have used that a total of 4 times since our last update, so a very long way to go before I hit pan, but that's okay. The one that I am actually most excited about is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and you guys will never guess which one it is. Well, maybe you can because we've gotten, you know, a few out of the way. But it's coming from this right here. I've been talking for months about how I'm just not drawn to the shade that I'm working on. So I'm working on this center bottom shade called Afterparty, this really beautiful metallic garnet shade, and I found a way that I love it. So I'm actually wearing it today. I went all out on this look. I have a huge wing. I attempted to do the fox eye thing. I don't know how successful it came out. It definitely is going to require some more practice. It's very trendy right now, and I've been just watching a lot of eyeshadow tutorials, which is honestly how I got into YouTube to begin with, was makeup tutorials. And I know the space has really moved away from those a lot, but I've come across some really, really wonderful eyeshadow tutorial channels, and so I've been binging like crazy on those and just trying something new. So this is definitely very outside of my comfort zone from a drama standpoint, but the way that I have been using this shade is with my purples from my painting solitaire project, and I don't know why it took me so long to do that. I think I was just so hung up on the red aspect of that shadow that I completely overlooked the fact that in garnet shades it is a purpley red. And so now that I finally have started pairing these reds and purples together, I've absolutely fallen in love with the combination, and I've worn this a couple of times now. So this is actually the 5th time that I have done this look, for obviously a total of 5 times using the shadow. You can't really see the progress that's in there, but the fact that prior to this update I had only used this shadow 4 times before this kind of, I don't know, binge, I guess. So I used it last month more than I used it the entire time that it had been into the project prior. I know that sounds super rambly, and I hope that made sense, but I'm really, really proud of that usage, and I'm excited to wear this shade. And for me, that's amazing. That is part of why I love panning so much. I never would have pulled for that shade if it wasn't in this project, and even when it was in this project, I wasn't pulling for it a ton, and now all of a sudden I have excitement around using that shadow. So no pan, staying in the project, and I'm kind of excited about it. The final shade that I was working on comes from my Too Faced. This is the original Gingerbread Spice palette that was released in 2018, I want to say. And the shade that I was working on was Bake It Till You Make It. And it is that shadow right there, which, as you can see, we have pan. I had a lot of fun with this shadow. This was a very easy shadow to work with. It was a really great sort of one and done. I could take it all over the lid, blend it into my crease, and it would look very put together. I also combined it with some other shadows like Brick from the Persona Copper palette with some of the shadows from my Painting Solitaire. It was very versatile for me, and I really enjoyed using it. I used that a total of 8 times since the last update in order to hit pan. So what does that mean, my friends? It means that we get to roll in a new shadow. So let me go ahead and get my Pretty Random app up, and we'll go ahead and we'll roll for a new one. All right, so I've got everything here in my Pretty Random app. I have variables 2 through 2128, which is currently all of the eyeshadows that I have on my Excel spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and see what 249. Wow, that's at the top. Let's see. What are you? 249. All right, $2.49 is going to come to us from the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. New Money. Ooh, I feel like that's a green color. All right, let me go ahead and grab it and I'll be right back. All right, so here we have that palette right here. I'm not gonna lie, I have not used this palette in a very long time. I purchased it when it launched and I did a review here on my channel back in its baby infancy days. If you go back and watch that video, please be kind and be gentle. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But this is what she looks like. So let's go ahead and open her up and, oh, oh no, it is not a green. Oh my God. Alrighty, so it took all year, but this is the shade that we're working on. This really bright purpley fuchsia color. Ooh, I've had nothing but sort of warm neutral browns, and I keep complaining about it every single month. And so here in the final stretch, we've got something new. Wow. All right, that is what we're working with right there. Goodness. Okay, so, well, that'll be fun. Oh, goodness. Alrighty, well, stay tuned for some looks with that color. I hope that all of your projects are going really, really well. And if not, well, we only have a month left of most of them. Sorry, that pink is throwing me off. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you are having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.